Hello, namaste. Your friend, Adventure in Life, once again here with the audio presentation of animal stories. As per, I often give my audio presentation as per the request of my students, friends, and once again, in a while, maybe last week I just posted a audio about one of the animal stories on the topic SHEP'S hobby, SHEP apostrophe S HOBBY, SHEP'S hobby. And today, once again, I'm here in front of you with my voice. Today, I'm going to present the most often repeated question in the board examination of BBA, BBA, BI, and Bachelor in Hotel Management under POKHARA University. So this question is compare and contrast SHEP, SHEP, SHEP'S hobby, and STICKEEN, STICKEEN. So when you have this question, compare and contrast SHEP'S hobby and STICKEEN, and then you have to remember these points. First of all, introduction. First step. Second step, summary of one story. Third step, summary of the other story. Fourth, comparison of the two dogs. 5, my personal preference. That means which one you prefer. Either you prefer SHEP'S hobby or STICKEEN. So my personal preference and impressions. That means out of the two stories, you have to just pick up your own, your favorite, I should say. And then next is conclusion, reference. So you have to remember in this way, whenever you have to compare these two stories: introduction, summary of one story, summary of the other story, comparison of the two dogs, my personal preference and impressions, conclusion, references. So let's begin. Let's begin first of all with introduction. Step 1. SHEP'S hobby and STICKEEN are both animal stories included in Adventures in English. The main characters are dogs in both stories. How both the writers are influenced by their behavior is properly described here. First, let's go to second step, that is summary of SHEP'S hobby. Mr. Harriot, the writer, went to Mr. Bell's farm to see Rose, one of his cows, which was suffering from an unknown stomach trouble. As he was deeply lost in thought, the dog jumped up, barked, showing the red mouth. This frightened the writer. He gave the levees to the cow, and the following day he went again to know the condition of the cow. He was walking to see Mr. Bell's on the green grass, enjoying different kinds of smell of the flowers. It was all silent. All of a sudden, he heard a terrible bark and saw the hairy form covering the blue sky for a moment. He felt that it might cause the evacuation of his bowels. Then he found the cow in a worse condition and tried with the levees, adding treacle to the mixture. The following afternoon, he was happy to see the cow in a better condition, but Mr. Bells told him that she was a different cow, and the Rose was cured by Jim Oakley, the postman, by making her run at the fastest speed. This time also, Shep frightened him so terribly, he felt his heart would stop. He got angry and scolded the dog very badly. He warned the dog not to frighten him again. When he went to Bells after a month, he found the dog withdrawing from the wall. He felt sorry for this. He had cut the pleasure out of the dog's life. When he went to Bells, dog frightened a portmender, and was well satisfied. Then the writer felt relieved. So this is what we see, the summary of one story. And for more story, you can just see I have already posted audio presentation of Shep's hobby. You can find my videos in my channel. Please be there. And moreover, I'll just attach the link below of this audio also. You can just go through that. Okay, now let's move on to the next summary of Stickeen. Stickeen was taken to the icy region of southwestern Alaska. He used to be slow and motionless in the canoe, C-A-N-O-E, boat, it means boat. But when the landing time was near, he would be the first to step onto the hand, and he was always the last to get in. When Muir, M-U-I-R, Muir means the writer, Muir was away, he followed him, and he would also follow the hunter. Other times he was aloof and indifferent. One stormy day, Stickeen accompanied Muir. The level flood was hitting on their faces. They went to the west shore of the glacier, and on a return trip, there were many dangerous crevasses, C-R-E-V-A-S-S-E-S, Chepuaru. It was difficult for the writer to cross them, but Stickeen crossed them easily. He was calm and following Muir. Finally, they were trapped in a place surrounded by a nearly 50-foot wide crevasse. The writer made small steps on the vertical wall and went across the silver breeze. On the other side also, he had to make steps on the vertical wall to climb up. Thus he went across, but Stickeen wisely knew the risk while crossing the crevasse through the breeze. He ran, mourned, and grieved. The writer encouraged and warned him to cross. Finally, he tried to cross it very carefully and succeeded. Then he was completely changed. He showed uncontrollable joy. He sobbed, cried, shouted, and screamed. They reached the camp safely. He never left the writer and always looked at his face as if he were his God. After the trip was over, he was taken by his master and was later stolen by a tourist. But Muir, M-U-I-R, the writer, would never forget him. So this is, you can see here in very short, the summary of Stickeen. And in a few days time, I am also planning to have my audio presentation of the summary and 4 level of Stickeen. And do please comment below. Your comments are always highly appreciated and your suggestions are equally welcome. Do please comment below and suggest me in which better way I can provide you my audio lessons. Possibly, if possible also, I can have video lessons. Okay, now let's move on to next. Now our next step is the 4th one. We have already completed introduction, summary of one story, summary of the other story. Now we are going to the 4th point, that is the comparison of the 2 dogs. Comparison of the 2 dogs. So first of all, it is about Shep's hobby. Shep is fond of frightening those people who are walking thinking about something else. He seems well satisfied when he is successful in frightening others. He has no evil designs on anyone. He is not a savage, wild, jungly. He does all this just for fun. Actually, he is a softie, S-O-F-T-I-E. His behavior to Harriet is changed after he is threatened by him. Like Shep, Sticken is aloof. Aloof means calm, cool, and quiet. But Sticken does not like any kind of fun. He is self-controlled, self-sufficient, and simple. He is witty and wise. When the proper time comes, he becomes active like Shep. He also likes teasing people getting late into the canoe. C-A-N-O-E means boat. After crossing the last crevasse, C-R-E-V-A-S-S-E, successfully, he is changed completely. He becomes sociable. He sits close to Muir, M-U-I-R, Muir means writer. Both of these dogs will be remembered by the reader. So this is the comparison of the two dogs. Now the next point number 5 is my personal preference and impressions. I don't like Shep because of his frightening habit. His game is risky. He may make my heart stop. I feel irritated when I am frightened like this. It may evacuate my bowels. I like Sticken. I love the way he behaves. He does not like to trouble anyone. Like a free man, he does what he wants. He is so human in expressing pleasure and pain. His continuous look towards Muir after he has been saved touched me very much. Next is conclusion. Both of the stories are enlightening, entertaining. They make us familiar with the nature of the animal. In many respects, human beings and animals are similar. They love fun. They are touched by both pleasure and pain. References. Okay, if you want to read more animal stories by Harriet, we can read James Harrier's Dog Stories. And of course, there is a BBC television series also on animals, like all creatures, great and small, if you really enjoy reading animal stories. Otherwise, this much. So today's topic was, I should say, compare and contrast Shep and Sticken. So let me remind you, compare and contrast Shep and Sticken. When you are asked to write this question, you have to remember 5 to 6 steps. First step is introduction. In introduction, what you do? In introduction, you just write is a small animal story and little bit about. Then you write next is summary of any story. Any story you can write. You can write either the first Shep's story or Sticken's story. It depends upon you. Summary of one story, summary of the other story, then comparison of the two dogs, and then my personal preference and impressions, conclusion. And reference means reference. It depends upon us. If you love to read, you can have other plenty of animal stories also. So I hope you have been enjoying my audios. Please do follow my videos, subscribe, and please share it to your friends. And please comment below and suggest me for further improvement. So this much for today. Thank you so much.